Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, as you are reading the caption of the broadcast, take your time to read the description of the broadcast as well. Then like it, share it, to invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And if you have done that, of course, thank you. So tonight, the rider or the caption for the broadcaster tonight is Nigeria on the road to this one-party state. A reality that a lot of gullible people have praised as Tinubu's ingenuity and all that stuff. So tonight, we are going to look into the crossover of one PDP governor and how many are still being expected to link up with Tinubu. Even though there are those who have been, or should I say, Atiku and his own co-travelers, they have been, muting the idea. In fact, they have actually been talking tough on the idea of a coalition. So their coalition to remove Tinubu. The PDP governor came together and said they were not going to be part of any coalition. Meanwhile, currently in Nigeria, they have 21 state governors, right? While that's a APC. PDP have 12 state governors. So the permutation for Tinubu's second term in 2027 is to, drop the mask, over what is called the PDAPC, kind of, right? Drop the mask. And from the remaining 12 PDP governors, how many of them are still in PDP, right? So we have it on a very good, kind of like credible as authority that from the 12 PDP governors, there are at least 9 of them who are currently with Tinubu. And from these 9, there is a guaranteed 5 of them are going to join Tinubu before the end of this year, as well as at the middle of next year. So it's going to swallow them up all together. The states that they rejected the APC, they will now become the state controlled by APC. So what states, right? So yesterday, was it yesterday that I did mention something about it, okay? In a place where the establishment that you have in that place, okay, they do not really have any form of, sort of like differences per se. They are all the same, on the same boat. And politically, right, it is mostly, not always, just about their interests, as you must know, right? So they have the governors of Adamawa, Intiri, Kefas of Taraba, right? This Muftang of Plateau, Umba of Enugu. There's a mention of that of Diri of Bayelsa, but it is not like so, yeah. Then you have River State, where Fubara is believed to have been tamed. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your impression is about the whole thing. But from what we are hearing, from what I have heard, right, is that, as part of the condition for him to ever return back to the government house in River State, in Port Harcourt, he would have to consider the date. He is also going to go and join Tinubu. And there's another kind of like a proviso, right? That Fubara will finish his term, cooperate with Wike on all fronts, and then never attempt to go for a second term. We're going to get to that part, okay? So this evening, we are starting from Rivers. I'm sorry, we're starting from Delta. So you see, Delta was mentioned, right, among the 4 first state PDP governors that are going to go and join Tifnumbu. It was like a foregone concluded stuff, right? But the story of Delta is a little bit kind of like unique, not in a good way, but unique in the sense that Delta State happened to be one of the richest states in Nigeria. It's also one of the, the most poorly, terribly managed states in Nigeria. Right from the time of, James Ibori, right? Then straight, I just forgot the guy in the middle. Anyway, then you got Okowa. Then after Okowa, you have this Sherrif. I don't want to say that, the Delta people have been unlucky, just them, not just them, right? Majority of all of Nigerians are unlucky with the characters that have managed to hijack power in their different states, right? But here is the twist. Okowa, 2 years ago, or maybe 2.5 years ago, when Atiku managed to edge out with a wicket from PDP, Okowa was cornered. No, is that the right word? Cornered? No. Okay, Okowa was kind of like toasted. Like, no, that's not even the right word too. But you know what I'm trying to say is that Okowa happened to be one of the richest oil, states, oil producing states in Nigeria, collecting huge amount of allocation. So Okowa, in the political balance, would say Okowa had a very deep pocket. Not like Werewike wouldn't match Okowa, money for money. But Atiku rejected Werewike and went for Okowa. It was like a big deal, especially for the SPV boys, the articulators on social media then. Now, cut the long story short, Atiku, right, got edged out plus Okowa. Then fast forward to a year later, right? Okowa started receiving maybe now calls or maybe now into or maybe now SMS messages to come and account for over 1.3 trillion naira Delta State money. I mean, like with Werewike, if not for the deal that Werewike managed to get with Tifnumbu in a real country, Werewike right now will be in jail. Listen, there are many. I've told you this before that it's not just this Werewike. Like more than 99% of your criminal leaders, doesn't matter which political party or which religion they practice or wherever they come from, in that contraption, 99% of your criminal leaders belong in prison. They don't belong in any public office at all, deciding the fate of millions of people. But here is just one, just for the mention. Werewike is considered to have looted nearly 2 trillion naira when he was governor of Rivers State. And this is not even an exaggeration. Again, just not to deviate, okay? So Okowa was being hunted. At first, it just went so quiet, like off the radar, until this year, right? Don't forget that in Delta State, James Ibori is their godfather, almost all of them. Almost all of them. I'm not saying all of them. At least it is the lineage of James Ibori that produced all these guys up to the current one that is there. And he's a power to Tifnumbu. Don't get, you do know that. Anyway, Okowa was invited, pretty much like arrested. But lucky him, there is no mugshot of him anywhere by the EFCC for 1.3 trillion naira Delta State money. He denied any wrongdoing. He said he can account for, there's no money missing. But again, those who are closer to them obviously know that there's this pressure of, if you join APC, We can make your problem, all this, your trouble, go away. Look at Akpabiole. He was standing trial for stealing 105 billion naira Akwa Ibom state money when he was governor. See his life now. Immediately he joined APC. They made him a special advisor to Buhari. After that, they made him the minister of Niger Delta. After that, he didn't even contest the election. He went back to the National Assembly. Today, Akpabiole is the number 3 man in that contraption. Do you get that now? So there's nothing you have done, Okowa. That is, the only thing is that it has to be done within a certain group. If you have to be forgiven. Now, this will be called the political maverick or something like that. No, this is just a conglomeration or the coming together, should I say convention, of criminals. Anyway, yesterday, Okowa told his followers, this was Atifku's number 2 man, by the way, right? Okowa told his followers that he would tell them where he is headed next. So it was like, okay. So this morning, he arrived at the government house in Asaba, where a meeting was held. They called it stakeholders meeting. And at that stakeholders meeting, they all declared that they are all going to APC. Or the PDP in Delta. And then you see, there will be more of this kind of news. The next one is probably going to be Kano. Yeah, I've heard that now that Kwakwansop is due. And it is not just him, Anyway, let's stop by in Delta quickly before we go into, the nitty-gritty of what looks like the journey to a one-party state officially. We can identify those of you who still believe in that one Nigeria, or somehow you think you probably have what it takes to revive this contraption. So the whole picture will be kind of like a lay bed. Then you realize that it is you versus them, although it is currently being kind of like pushed as an agenda, right? That they had it on a very good authority, okay, that the entire southern Nigeria will be turned to APC for Tinubu against the gang up that is led by Atifku. Peter Obi's role in all of this, right? I'll tell you what they are kind of like pushing as, Peter Obi and his obedience will be this. This is their permutation. Do you understand? But let's go to Delta first. Okowa, Sherrif, and the other PDP supposed structure in Delta states singing on your mandate.
By the special grace of God. So any years can go in way. In your later or no, but I take the decision it to be in the best interest. I'm already in Obiani Basson that decision as they take it. In your list, be assured that we will not go in the wrong direction. We will take the best thing, the best direction, the best path for our people. Me here the ones are name. Ekele kamundo tolopo. Kono ga pass count on money. It count apoha. It go up. Come. Let them move. Let them turn. Let them move.
It is said that when the taste of the palm wine changes, the drinking pattern also changes. And the leaders of the party, in the course of the consultation, were unanimous in their view that the political temperature have changed. The taste of the palm wine in this instance have also changed, and there was the need for us to adjust the drinking pattern. And in adjusting that drinking pattern, we needed to take a decision that would further help to cement the development in our state, to build the bond of love that has existed in our state, to further advance the cause of security and the welfare of our people, and to a very large extent ensure that development is Delta, because even politics is local, it's not truncated. And in taking that decision, we came to the inevitable conclusion that moving out of the PDP is very, very necessary for us to be able to collaborate with our kith and kin and build that state that every Delta will be proud of. We believe that what is happening at the state of the PDP is akin to that palm wine whose tastes have changed, and there was a need for us to change the drinking pattern. And that is why this decision has been taken unanimously by leaders and stakeholders of the party, and by the grace of God, on Monday next week, we will be able to make a very big statement as to the fact that we are moving into the APC. But I have here with me, perhaps also when you ask questions, you'll be able to throw more light as to the reason why we have to adjust our drinking pattern of this particular palm wine whose tastes have changed. Thank you very much. But before you ask your question, I would like our leader to give you full insight, some few insights as to how we came to this inevitable conclusion. Distinguished Senator. Thank you.
On your mandate, they shall stand. Everybody knows that is joining them to escape justice. Not because those that are hunting him are different. So, shall you get me now? And this is why we said thieves can't really fight thieves. You know, criminals don't really fight themselves. As long as everyone is free to take whatever they want, there will be no fight, no rivalry, except when you want to take what somebody else has taken, then they will say, oh, there's rivalry and all that, but still, you know. So they looted Delta State, and to avoid jail, just they come to APC. That in itself, you may call it politics. It is called obstruction of justice. You know, Nigeria is a lawless place. So I may be sounding so strange to some of you that will just chuckle or just laugh. You know, but that is why Nigeria is a failed country led and being controlled, led by career criminals. A democracy needs a very strong, viable opposition that can provide alternative to whatever it is that the ruling government is offering. That is not what you have in that contraption. People are so corrupt. They are so corrupt, entangled, right? That they cannot sincerely stand up for the people they claim to be doing it for. Did you hear Okowa earlier that said, you know, he's doing it in the best interest of his people? But that's not true, right? So people destroying people is finished.